Hey, and we are here. It's official. It's the keys to the bag, and we're here with Katt DC. I am Don P, the
Hi.
gentleman, aka the exoticpreneur. Prince Fantasy is out on who, but make sure you follow him at Prince at Mr. One Hell of a Guy. We want to keep things going and making sure that everything's lit. Hey, but before you know it, I just want to do a blackout. There we go. So now that we are here, now that we are here, what
We're
I'm
all
what
here.
I'm so it is
We're all here.
official. It is official right here. Let's see, make sure that y'all keep a tap in. Our classes will be coming soon. We're building that as we speak. Um
Cheers, Don.
cheers to you. You know. Uh Today we're gonna make sure I take my Nutriverse. See,
Yes.
Nutriverse is the key to life because look, you're trying to be healthy, and not being sick. You
hmm
feel me? And this is 148 essential multivitamins, all the minerals, whole foods. The part that we be missing the most is whole foods, and I want to make sure that we all know how to get that. So to get that, look, you'll catch the link in the bio. Um, to learn more on how to get you some Nutriverse and get your multivitamin on. All I need y'all to do, for real, is what is right here. Look, I need y'all to text healthy and sexy at 248-773-4137. Get you some liquid multivitamins. It's
Yes.
gonna outlast, out earn, outwork any multivitamin that you take right now. Why? Because it's liquid. You're gonna be able to absorb it. You're gonna be able to work it. I take it. Prince take it. Cat D takes it. Why? Because hey, look, it's vitamins. What the freak? But these vitamins work better than all your vitamins. I put that to you 2 to 1, 3 to 1. I put it up. Let's make it happen. You feel me? All right, so we are here. Let's go ahead and work on it. Let's get to the keys to the bag. You feel me? So now, first of all, let's thank the people for helping us out and by showing up that last week, last time.
Yes. Thank
Clap it up for
y'all.
him. Clap it up for him. Clap it up for him. You feel me? Because
Yay.
it was something, trying to put that together, and yet we made it happen. So now, uh, it's been a place of energy, been a place of energy, been a place of goodness, been a place of prosperity, and when we was going over the notes of like, well, we got so much value we want to add to everyone. We have so much value we want to add to the game. But one of the key things that we really can't avoid, but at one time it was avoidable, was being anonymous, not being seen, being hidden. Okay.
Mhm.
At what when there was a moment where that we could just do our thing and no one know, right?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
not too long ago. But now
hmm
it's gotten different. The game has changed. Like you either gonna put yourself out there or you're not gonna you're not gonna maximize your income, and you're gonna be wondering why you're not getting the maximum amount because um, unlike popular belief, people got to know what you do. People got to know what you own, even if it's temporary. It still got to be out here for people to know. So, Katt, share with us your point of view and your perspective on now sharing or being out here now or being seen, in this game.
Well, what I'll say about that is this. Maybe about 12, 13 years ago, uh, right before I got married, um, the club scene was a little bit different. Women were allowed to work in the club, and not the club did so much promotion, but it was a secret a secret club, a secret situation. You know, people came there, and you might have seen the girls advertised on the front of the club, or there if you went to certain little events, depending on what town or what city you were in or what area. Um, you might even had a street team that passed out flyers for particular clubs. But a woman could still remain anonymous. She could still, a lot of women were going to school, they were doing different things. They were in relationships, married, etc. Families probably may have had an issue with them dancing or whatever, but they were able to stay anonymous. The difference that I see now, coming back into the business, is that it's almost totally impossible for you to be an entertainer earning on a certain level and keep that same anonymity. Reason being, social media. And as Prince and I discussed before on the previous program, depending on what club that you work at, what area you're working in, etc., some clubs are section clubs. So you have a lot of customers that are coming because they want to meet the women that they're following on Instagram or on Snapchat or maybe even on TikTok now. And these women are their fantasy. So what the club is doing is they're taking these really popular young women and allowing them to work and allowing their customer base to come, building their club based upon their customer base. And, you know, probably about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you were still kind of able to kind of move around, and you didn't have to really have an Instagram. You didn't really have, just depending on what area that you're in. But in 2022, I would say that it's almost virtually impossible to be working at certain clubs that's going to, where you're going to meet your maximum earning potential and be able to not be known or keep what you do a secret because of just the way that the whole club scene and everything is set up now. Like I said, it used to, there were a few little milks and crannies, like little areas where they were still, you was able to work, and it was like kind of old school, you know, tip drill, sticker move, whatever. But even those areas now, even, you know, your smallest little towns are really turning to more of branding, promotion, promoters. And if the promoters are working at the club and stuff like that, they really want to brand and build their own dancers and stuff like that or whatever. So it's very hard now to remain anonymous. I mean, what do you think? How are things in, you know, in Michigan and in the Chicago areas?
So to add to that, yeah, now it's great that now you know, entertainers and are able to move around and build them a brand, and there's now a point of loyalty. So back in the day, you know, we had headliners that basically set the tone for everybody else. Y'all see it in like the P Valley and the shows now, and that has not changed. Every business requires a star player. Somebody gotta, you know, be likable. Somebody gotta bring in something, and it's interesting that you say that now because of social media. You know, every person has an opportunity to actually become their own brand, their own franchise, and because of that, there is no sense of entitlement, so to speak. Now is a production. Like those who market is gonna monetize the best way. Those who don't market, you getting the crumbs. Now,
Yeah, because there's actually, yeah, because actually there's some clubs now where they don't even have a stage, where the club is
mm-hmm,
really based upon sections, or maybe it might be little
mm-hmm,
areas where you can work the floor, but those clubs are really based upon sections or whatever. So you're not even hitting the stage to perform. It is basically based upon high-end clientele picking certain girls, and they're more likely to pick the women they're going to these clubs to meet the young ladies that they see on these social media platforms and that they are following and fantasizing about. It's a whole, different ball game in a lot of areas. It was like I said, the trend was starting. I saw the trend kind of starting maybe about 5, 7 years ago, but it is really very prevalent now. Very prevalent
All
now.
right. So now I got a question here. So
Mm.
since there is the space of, branding and loyalty and marketing, at what point do the entertainer realize that if it falls on them a lot of bit now? Like when you're going to transfer out, you're going to take these skills with you. Now, a lot of the entertainers go and get jobs or supplement with jobs to go to maintain their balance, because this industry has now become a for sure lifestyle income and living. How are they? What is keeping them from sticking and moving? Is there a benefit to be at a home location versus just being a traveling? You know what I mean? Like, is it more advantageous for them to travel and spread their exposure or their attendance um, uh, available, or is it to their benefit to just have them a standard place where that they can call home?
Well, I think that every dancer should have a base club, but again, I would say depending on the area and where you're located, some areas their clubs are having maybe a year to a year and a half. Uh, they're only staying open for a year, year and a half. They're not. These clubs aren't staying open 4 or 5 years. So if you're having a year run at a club and you haven't built a following anywhere else, or you can't go to another area where no one knows you, and that club shuts down. If you don't have a backup income and you're not working, it's like starting from scratch, because now you're traveling and now you're trying. It's not, like I said, it's not like it was back in the day where it wasn't a lot of women that were dancing. So if you're running to Miami, if you're running to Atlanta, if you're running to Phoenix and all these different places, you still have to do the groundwork. So you still have to find out what club is going to fit you. So if you've just stayed at your base club and you're awesome there, you might go to another area and it might take you time to find a club where they react the same way to you as they did in your particular area. So I would suggest that yes, all women always keep your base club, but take time out to travel to areas that you may want to go to and build a rapport there and make sure that you're good at a few different spots in different areas, especially in areas that are like where they have a high clientele or a high following for the strip club industry and for exotic entertainment. So I wouldn't say no. I don't think no. You can. I don't see girls being able or young women being able to retire from one club anymore. These clubs aren't staying
Oh,
open that long, and with the explosion of OnlyFans and things like that, like no, no.
mm,
What do you
mm,
think?
mm, mm. That's interesting,
What's your
and
thought?
that's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment on that. That you're right. The fight to stay, the fight for traditional nightclubs to stay open is harder, which I predict that it's going to go more exclusive, more
Yes,
higher end, more gentlemen and more VIP, exclusive VIP, because the OnlyFans is here. A lot of entertainers can go out and create their own subscribership, which Just a side note: if you're in any business, you wanna monetize your likeness. You want to get some form of subscribership going on. There are a lot of different platforms. OnlyFans is not the only one. OnlyFans was
Which
had
goes back
no
to what we were
intention.
saying. See, which goes back to what we were saying about not being able to be anonymous like that anymore, because
Right.
you're going to have to brand yourself and you're going to have a following in order to get. Okay, what I'm finding is a lot of women that's coming into the business, they're watching Instagram or they're watching different platforms, and they're saying, okay, I look like this, I can go to this club and I can do. They don't know the groundwork that has been done
Mm-hmm.
for those women to
They
make
don't.
the money that they make. It is not like it was back in the day where you could just be a attractive woman, walk in a club, and because you had a nice physique or you had a great, what I'm saying, mouthpiece, and you were able to talk to people and stuff like that or whatever. Those times, those type of places where you can go and hustle like that is becoming slim. It's slim pickings
Mm-hmm.
now. Even with the mega clubs, even with the super, I call them super strip club. The mega clubs,
Mm-hmm.
I see that trend
Mm-hmm.
dwindling. As you said, I think it's gearing more towards the gentleman um, style clubs.
Mm-hmm.
It's going back to the old school way because I mean I'm gonna say this, and this is just my opinion. I think within maybe the next 5 or 6 years, it's not gonna be a huge amount of people going to the strip club.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be more subscription based. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be, most of the girls are going to turn to being online and people seeing, you know, if it is, do you guys, I mean, back in the day, they used to do, what was it called when they used to have the girls behind the glass?
Oh
And the
yeah,
guy would pay the
yeah,
money and stuff like that or
yeah,
whatever. I
yeah. The
think
quarter
I
machines.
foresee it kind of the quarter machines, but it will probably be more money than that.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Way more now.
more, yeah, but more
It's
the
burlesque style,
personal.
so it's going to be more of
Yeah,
a
it would be
burlesque
more. Yeah, it
style.
would be. I think it would be more like the personal, behind the glass style dancing or subscription
Mm-hmm.
based.
Yeah.
That's where I see it kind of going.
That makes more sense. Heck, I'll still looking at how I can create my own virtual spot. Just some free game right here for those that tap into this thing. Make sure y'all like, subscribe to the YouTube channel right here. I'm not fancy with it, so we gonna hit you one time for the one time right here. I need y'all to do that every time. Now, with that being said, there's a point where that there's going to have, they're going to go to these virtual spaces, and we know that the metaverse is here. So that's a platform that's going to be built. I like me knowing, understanding industries, business, and transitions. This ain't going nowhere. It just evolves.
It just
Period.
evolves, right?
So free game on this one that I'm building me one. So I advise a lot of other places to see about how they could build them a virtual club, a virtual location where the girls will be able to create their own avatars and do their thing, and as well as having their VIP experiences in person and in virtual, because that's where it's going to be. Trust me. Now, rather y'all believe me or not, that's fine. Hey, look, I'm an exoticpreneur for a reason, not for a season. You feel what I'm saying? But in
Oh,
that same space,
peep
yeah.
shows. That's
See,
what they were
there,
called.
there we go.
I'm
Got the
telling you, I'm like
peepees.
that, y'all. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
peep shows.
she coming out there. But here's the sauce on this. Now, there's going to be a place where that um being exceptional is going to be the norm. By these girls being getting these augmentations and avoiding traditional exercise to actually keep it, that it's going to be the norm. So by them being that being a norm, what do you believe may be the abnormal that makes them stand out? What's going to start making the women on this side? I'll speak on the male side, but on the women's side that allow them to stand out now that being beautiful, being shapely, being curvy is kind of normal now. It's kind of it's not even exception. It's like that's required now. If you're not that, they won't even let you in certain places.
Well,
You
yeah,
know?
I was about to say to you. I think that that actually is pretty much the norm now. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm seeing very, very exceptional looking women now.
Hmm.
I would say the thing that's going to make you stand out is your swag and having a gimmick,
Hmm.
uh, having something, either having a product attached to you to sell,
Hmm.
or your swag or your gimmick. It's gonna have to be something about you that's going to make you a little bit different. Prime example, I would say we talked about Dita Von Teese
Hmm.
on the last episode that we did, and what made her stand out was in a sea of blondes where everybody had the same image, the same look, or whatever. She did something. She went completely left and made her look, although it was exceptionally beautiful, it was exceptionally different. So you're going to have to, if everybody's going right, go left. Make your image, your style, your costumes, the way you wear your hair, all of that. Um, you're gonna have to be a trendsetter, or you're a trendsetter, and we gotta go back to marketing, being able to talk to people, conversation, having a product attached, like having a product or something to sell or something that you have going on in your life other than just being an exotic entertainer.
So that goes back to Defined by Purpose. Look, y'all need to get that book, Enter the Exoticpreneur. You know, Defined by Purpose. The book is right here. Look. I left a copy of the thing, but I will
I
put it.
have a
I'm gonna put a
copy.
link in. I know. I will put that in the thing. See, the thing is that is that your product is a service and your service is a product. Like you gotta have a product. Like it's not even a question mark now. You gotta have your self-associated products. Now, of course, a lot of people kind of go with the traditional things of, all right, I'm just going to start selling lashes or hair, and that's
I
fine because
mean, no,
it's a
a
commodity.
lot, yeah, a lot
You
of the
know.
women are, because what I do on the side, commercial real estate, but you have a lot of women that are real estate agents. They sell
Hmm.
cars, different things, but you're going to have something where people can support other things that you're doing. It doesn't necessarily have to be lashes, like you said, or waist trainers or different things like that. But it's going to have to be something where people are looking at you and they're saying, "Oh yeah, she does this, but you know what? I want to go see her because I was supporting, or whatever. Or you know what? I need to go buy. I'm looking at this new car to buy, and I know my homegirl that works at so and so. She's gorgeous. I get to see her, but I can still talk to her about getting this car." Just different things like that. It's going to have to be something else that makes them think about coming to you in the sea of
Hmm.
women, of gorgeous women.
You know, and that part right there is the most important part. Like, look, if you don't have a product that they can associate to, because people like to upgrade, people want to
Mm-hmm.
upgrade. Like they like I haven't seen a male or female that's been in this industry that at one point didn't start adding value to their product and service by having other things that they can have experiences. Like in traditional business, we call that an upsell. We call that
Mm-hmm.
upsell. Like once you come into our world, once you paid that fee to get in the door, that's just one thing. That might be a high fee or low fee, but it was a small fee. So at that point, we already know you're ready to, support whatever we got going on. We're just making sure that you make the experience worth the time, right? So when you get in there, me as being the operator, the first thing I know the draw is the girls or the guys. It depends on, what night it is for the club. If it's a male review and we got a whole 200 women pulling up, then that's what it is. If it's a female review, then we're going to have at least 150 guys pulling up, ready to show up, right? And their experiences are different. So on my end, I want to make sure that when they pull up, that first is a headliner or a showstopper. Then there's, okay, you paid the door fee to get in. All right, what amenities can I get you to upsell to? So from there, if you're the male, if it's a female review and there's men coming in, then I'm making sure that I having a girl sit on his lap, or if that's allowed, in our areas it was allowed, or entertaining with a conversation, like go talk to them, go say something and make them feel appreciated, give them that concierge service to let them know like that. And at that point, you ask right at that point, to suggest, hey, what are you drinking? Are you interested in, whatever, getting them comfortable. So then, are you ushering them to a booth? All of these things are setting them up for the big play, because now we're able to gauge what kind of customer you are. If you're not in the booth, then we know that you're not spending a certain amount of money, because booths cost a certain amount of money just to do it, because it comes with a bottle, and then there's a precursor to that, right? Then on a male review, the woman is already coming in there preset. Now the guys already know hit the flow, so they're putting on a pre-show before that real show. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're putting on a pre-show, so they're in not in their routine cartoons, but they're in a nice appearance, a nice apparel, and they're just socializing and giggling, but they're doing a little this, a little that. Now, don't judge me. I was the guy who managed the place. I didn't have none of the talent that they got. You feel me? So I ran the shadow. So if you see my two-step like that, that's about as much you're gonna get out of me anyway. However, when they start setting up, they're prepping the lady, so they're making sure that who's their spender. So some of these guys are having stacks of singles ready. Seeing how many is going to support them or support the group as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So they're prepping them. The guys are buying the ladies the drinks at that point. So the roles are actually reversed. Crazy, right? The roles are actually reversed. They're going and start buying ladies their first round of drinks, first 2-3 rounds of drinks, to get them warmed up, get them ready. So I said, because they want to be free, but we know how that go. We know how that go. You got to take a little revving to get that engine going. But once that engine going, it's on and popping. You feel me? What makes that important now is because from a marketing standpoint, now the exoticpreneur, the entertainer, the performer, the marketer has to make sure that once we buy into that version of you, and I talk about this in the book, that we now add something to that, say, hey, look, not only am I perform here, I also do bachelor parties, for example, or I set up special classes for couples to have a VIP experience. Like, we have a service now called While Your Wife, where that the male entertainers teach husbands how to seduce their wife and spice up their life. That's
right.
They because a lot of people don't know how to do it. In the female side, we have a dating circle, that they don't date as in like solicit or nothing like that, but they date as in they go through each other's woes and create a sensual experience between the three. And that is a service to let them know, like, look, we want y'all to stay together because it's to the beneficial. Now, some people might have some type of feelings on that, but the reality situation is that those conversations are being had and those experiences are being supported, because it brings a lot of healthy awareness in regards to each other's sexual exploration and education between each other as those couples or husband and wives operate. You know, let me know if on those spaces how has that worked in your world or by you actually experiencing the the joys of marriage, so to speak, and how they transitioned for the ones that was trying to be the servicer, versus the
Well,
service.
like I said, it has a lot to do with area.
Hmm.
By I live South Carolina, so my area I frequent Georgia, Florida. The dynamic of the club is a little different. The clubs are pretty much based upon more of a nightclub style. So you really don't have time to have so much personal contact with the customers. And you know, where I'm located, everybody comes to the strip club. Most of the guys that come, they're bringing their girlfriends or their females with them. You have girls that are coming just to hang out and have a drink and tip the girls or whatever. It's a lifestyle. So it's not, you don't have the time, or it's not quiet enough. It's too much going on to really be so social and intertwined, so much intimacy. What I would say is that I think it's good for your relationships because there's no hiding. And I used to always have a tendency to cater to the woman first. If I like, my customer base I get a lot of couples. I love couples. So I always have a tendency to go to the woman first because I know I'm a woman and how I would feel coming to a club with a man that I care about, or my husband, boyfriend, etc. So I've always learned if you make her feel comfortable and she has a good time, it becomes an enjoyable experience for both of them. And they realize that, you know what, this is just fun. This is just sexual fun. And after a while, you're just there, but they're having a good time with you. Everybody's eased out. And I think that it's good for the relationship because by the time they leave out of there and go home, they're going to have a good time. It's the after party after the after party. So,
That's the
I think
word.
strip clubs are great for relationships,
Hmm.
especially now. A lot of times I used to always tell women, you really don't have to worry about, most of the time, you don't have to worry about the dancer with your man. You would have to worry, I would worry more about his secretary than I would
Mm.
worry about him being at the strip club with the strippers. It's about, but yeah, that's a conversation for another episode.
Oh yeah. So make sure y'all tune in to those keys in the back. It's a new episode coming up, and look, I'm gonna let the cat out the bag on this one. We're gonna revisit one of my most talked about conversations on my podcast, the Exoticpreneur, which is the Kings and Queens. But we're gonna add a little spice to this one, so it's Kings, Queens, and Concubines. Episode 3. I need y'all gonna love this. Yeah, it's gonna be we gonna go down through that. We're gonna cover some stuff. We're gonna give y'all some sauce on that. So make sure y'all tune in. Make sure y'all tap in to Keys to the Bag. Episode 3 is coming, and it's gonna be rare. Make sure y'all actually are in our. You're gonna catch us every first third. Heck, we when we run it up, we appreciate everybody for tapping in and showing us some love on our first
Yeah,
rodeo.
thank y'all. We really do.
you
We
know,
really do.
really was getting ready. So as y'all show in and show up and post the comments, tap in, let us know which you would like us to cover, one quick time for time. There we go. So as we tap in and go a little further with that, we're going to make sure that we tap into some topics that have been avoided in real relationships, but it's been explored in when they walk into our world, walk into our space. So this is a lot of reasons why we get paid a lot. We are at a lot of places. We are a lot of people pseudo-psychiatrists, pseudo-therapists. Even though these are grown men and women who are being entertained and being um, addressed and handled by, by people sometimes half their age. You know, which is amazing to me, but yet it's a reality.
And some that's more than half their age.
Never like. I mean, I get it. Sometimes it's I think, and it's interesting. I say that, and I'm saying this for a reason because I just left a convention that I was a part of, where they really started talking about mental health, and that's a real thing. It's not something to be swept under the swept under the rug as not being real. Not people are not being affected on it, because mental health is and mental illness are two very separate things.
And
You
especially in this industry, so that's something that we really need to tap in on. Definitely.
Exactly. So I'm so me as Don P, the exoticpreneur, I'm always looking on how to serve and do more to help each other. And it has nothing to do with people in the industry, even though that's where we come from. That's how our bag shook for, decades. There's still a point of service that a lot like you when you go into the industry, let's be realistic. You ain't all the way. There's a little more going on with that because it's a lot. There's a
And
lot to
those are,
that.
but let me tell you something, that is one of the subjects that we're definitely going to touch on in the course,
Hmm.
because you definitely have to work on trying to keep your mind right and your mental health together, because
Hmm.
this industry, this business can be very stressful and will take a toll on your mental health. So you definitely have to talk about how you need to take breaks, you need to take vacations,
Hmm.
and learning the one of the things that I do see now, and I do want to tap in on this, learning to leave the entertainer at the club.
Mm.
When I came into the business, I was always taught you have a club name for a reason. When you come to work, you become Cat DC, etc. When you leave out of those doors, you leave that there. I'm seeing a lot of young women having a problem doing that. They're carrying being who they are in the club into their regular lives and not being able to separate the two. And if you're not able to separate the two, later on down the line, you're going to start having problems, not only in your regular everyday life, in your personal life, family life, etc. Because, like I
Hmm.
said, this industry and this business will and can take a serious toll on you.
Exactly. And that right there is the icing on the cake. Like we we as a people are affected mentally. I can't say more, but dramatically more consistently because of the instance of we had to do what we had to do to survive,
Exactly.
and in that survival mechanism, there are points where that you want to develop uh, keen instincts to decipher friend over foe. And once you leave that space and go to not so heavier space, like I was when I was at the panel, a young man had shared a story, an ideology on being a lion and a hyena, and the mentality that was associated. So how he shared it, and I'm going to try and do it. I'm only going to repeat what I remember, but it did stand out to me. And he stated that, being a hyena, the mentality of being a hyena was that of survival. So when they traveled in packs for a reason, because they're surviving. They know they have to scrabble. They know they have to scavenge to feed. So when they come across that lion, the lion is already in that posture, of like, I'm the lion, I'm the shit. So y'all can't come at me in no kind of way. Y'all gotta calm the freak down. So in that mentality of being a lion, there's some points in you where you want to be that alpha, when you want to be that strong woman, that strong man, that alpha king or queen, that there's a point that you lose sight of the mentality that you might have to keep a little bit of hyena in you, a little bit to keep that survival mechanism, to keep that sharpness, so that you be able to identify the friend or foes.
Definitely, because you'll get it, especially now where I'm seeing the industry, the behaviors that I'm seeing in the industry now, that the majority of them, you definitely have to be coming off of your lion or lioness mentality. Because the majority of this club now are hyenas. And you have to have a survival mentality. There are actually some establishments where I would not even recommend, I don't care, the most experienced of dancers, to work alone or be a loner. It's going to be very hard for you because of the way that club, the pace of that club, and the way that it's set up. It would be virtually impossible unless you were a feature. And even with that, you would probably make money at that particular time when you get called on stage or etc. But you would have a very hard time making money throughout the rest of that club. It's definitely extremely a hyena mentality and a pack mentality in the industry now.
So
if you're straight in your lion mentality now, you're gonna have problems. You're gonna find yourself walking into an issue, because you have a lot of women that are on this level and do have, the lioness mentality, and I'm hearing the complaints because they're having issues. They're having issues in the club now because they're no longer even respecting that. It's definitely in a lot, depending on the area, it is very much a get it how you live type of mentality, to the point where you didn't have to worry about certain things. It's not like that now. You're having I'm getting a lot of feedback from girls that are very much active in the business, in a lot of high-end and even high-end clubs. They're having problems with the new mentality because of the economy, because of everything that's going on in the world right now. And you have a lot of people that are coming into the industry that may not, back in the day, would even have considered being an exotic entertainer, but are in the business, but they're bringing a whole different mentality to it. So you definitely have to be aware. And as we delve deeper, we'll delve deeper into some of those subjects in the courses, because there's a lot of things as young entertainers you have to look out for in the business, because at the end of the day, I've always said this, I mean, it might sound cynical, but you guys are friends until you hit that floor. And if you're not working in a group situation, whereas you guys are eating together, making money together, you you know, you got to keep your eyes open because it's every man for themselves. I've always told, you know, I told my little young girlfriend sometimes, you know, once we go through these doors, if they not making no money out that bag, they really don't get that much a fuck about you until we leave back out of this club.
And that's interesting. So you just said
don't be shocked. Don't be shocked at the behavior of people that you feel as though you're close to, because once they step into this environment, everything changes. Everything, you know, a lot of times, depending if they really don't know who they are, and you know, it can get real.
So real. That's very another real. Part. That's a
whereas it wasn't that serious. Like I said, as a young performer in the industry, it really wasn't that serious. But at that time, it wasn't that many women that were dancing either. So the whole, you know, premise of the industry was different.
And that's the point, and that's the sauce. So what I would ask at this point, as we you know, set up and close out, you know, make sure y'all, you know, tap into the, you know, Keys to the Bag, the link to join our exclusive Facebook group where I drop gems. All of us drop gems and exclusive content and just private conversations at the Facebook group. Just search Keys to the Bag show. That's it. Keys to the Bag show right there, and we'll be able to you know, address and see what you want to do, you know, right there, you know, and be able to, you know, tap into more one-on-ones with you if you do got questions. So make sure you like, hit the bell and sings, and I'm going to do my little shameless thing, and y'all can go ahead and watch it. We're going to change the screen one more time. We're going to Yeah, did. So, as we add more sauce to this chicken to make it really, really good and juicy, as we close out, I would like to ask this. If you were to sum it up in 3 steps, what would be 3 steps that an existing entertainer, a vetted, or a new one, and they're looking to travel or go to new areas because they are in their line of space, but they're about to be surrounded by hyenas, and that is a survival mechanism, to keep their mind, their body, and their spirit intact, which is the ExoticPrenuers method of attraction. What are the 3 things that you suggest that they should do to keep it together? And with that, what do they need to be mindful for? So the first question is how to keep it together. The second question is what do they need to be mindful for when they get there? And third one is when is the best time to exit that space?
Okay, what they need to do initially. Whatever your perspective, whatever you practice, whatever your religion, traditional way of prayer, meditation, getting to yourself, whatever you do to wind down, but you know, getting to yourself, meditating, praying, getting yourself centered, getting yourself grounded before, like, just it can be the same way as a fighter would get to themselves and get themselves psyched up and ready to go into battle, into war. I would say it's the same kind of mentality and perspective when you're going into the club. When you get there and you go out of town, I would say first of all, have people or friends or family always let people know your location and where you are and where you're going. If it's your first time going to a club, I don't care who you talk to. I don't care how much you've seen on social media. I don't care any of that. Sit down. So I would actually suggest to actually even go on a slow night. Sit down and watch the pace of the club. A lot of times as women, we make mistakes by listening to our girlfriends say, okay, I made money at this club, I made money at that particular club or whatever. That club might not fit you. It has nothing to do with the way that we look, has nothing to do with your shape or whatever. It has to do with the clientele, the energy that's flowing through the club, and everything doesn't connect with everyone. So I would say to go sit down, pay attention, see what's going on, and even see whether or not that club is even your vibe. And thirdly, pay attention to all red flags. And I always tell women, don't, if it's inevitable to have an incident with somebody, then yes, you have to do what you have to do. But when you're out of your comfort zone and you in an area that you don't know and you're far away from home or whatever, if it's any red flags, if you feel uncomfortable, if you see people, management, security, promoters, dancers or whatever, and you feel like it's not a comfortable space and they're not feeling you or they're not fucking with you or your friends or whatever, and you feel like it's not a good place to be in, walk. The money's not worth it. And you're tipping, whatever, it's not worth the headache. Because I've seen so many people, so many dancers get their, money stolen, clothing stolen, outfits, all kinds of stuff or whatever, not paying attention to your surroundings and where you at. All money is not good money. So if you see anything, if you ever feel uncomfortable at any club in any area, like I said, number one, always have somebody know where your location is. And, so that if anything was to happen to you, they would know where to trace you. And if you have any feelings that you don't feel comfortable or safe in an environment, walk, leave. I don't care. And don't get in unnecessary arguments in places where you 300 miles away from where you live at. It's not worth it. I mean, if you have to get into something and you have to, reach for that iron, and you do what you got to do. But prevention is better than a cure, and it's not worth it because at the end of the day, you got to realize, I never understood why dancers would even entertain fighting or getting into any kind of incidents, because you make your money off of your looks and off of your beauty. And as expensive as it is now to keep yourself together, whatever the hell. Damn, my shit, I don't know how to fight. No.
That part. Mm-hmm. So, so those were some amazing gems. I mean, you just sold it up and wrapped it up and put it in. Now they got to eat this. They got to eat this chicken with all this good sauce. I mean, whew. Look,
but this is just the basics, y'all. I mean, look, you guys have to subscribe and really, so we can get in depth with you guys. So Prince and I can really get in depth with you guys. We'll get into letting you guys know what areas we feel like are good for you to go to, what's popping right now, what clubs we feel like is popping right now. We're going to get to a lot, get into a lot of things. We're going to get to the bag.
So that means make sure. So make sure that y'all tap into our Facebook group at keystothe.com. Let's get wealthy. out. Okay?
Hey.
Can I see? So let's stay healthy. Let's get wealthy. Let's get the keys to this bag. You feel me?
Keys to the bag, guys. We'll see you next time.
That part.